One of the questions that I'm often asked is, how do I use PureRAW 6 alongside ON1 Photo RAW? Well, today we're going to take a look at how you can use both of these amazing pieces of software side by side and get the best of both worlds. Now, of course, if you want to pick up PureRAW 6, consider using the coupon code FWP Summer 26. That is an affiliate coupon. All that means is I make a small commission from everyone who uses it, but it's at no extra charge to you. And you get extra money off of the sale price of DxO PureRAW 6. So if that's something you're interested in, then I greatly appreciate everyone who supports the channel in that way. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the computer and take a look at how we can use DxO PureRAW 6 alongside ON1 Photo RAW. So here we are inside of the computer, and it does look a little different than my computer normally does, but the image that we're going to be working on is right here. And so if I hit the space bar, and let's just go ahead and make this full screen for a second. And then I'm going to zoom in here so we can take a look at all of the noise that's in this particular file. All right. Now, my recommendation is that you always start inside of ON1, especially if you're using ON1 as kind of your asset manager or your file organizer. ON1 is going to be the best place to start, in my personal opinion. And that's why I always start here. Now, with this particular image, I did shoot this with the A7C Mark II with the Sigma 24-70. Now, I want you to remember that information because this is going to come in handy a little bit later in today's video. All right. So A7C Mark II with the Sigma 24-70 lens. And I shot this at 20,000 ISO. And that's the reason why there's all this noise. Even though it doesn't look terrible, it can look a little bit better. And so that's the reason why I think we would be leaning towards a program like DxO PureRAW 6. Now, let me go ahead and get out of that larger view there. And I'm going to just click and drag this over to minimize this window just a bit. And you'll notice I now have PureRAW 6 over here on the screen. Now, I've already opened PureRAW 6 because I think that everyone can figure out how to open a software. So I don't need to showcase that. But one of the things that you may not be aware of, and every time that I have a one-on-one training call with someone, they're always amazed that you can do this. And so hopefully if you don't learn anything else out of today's tutorial, you'll get this. What you can do is click and drag and drop this into the DxO PureRAW software. And before I let this go, I do want to talk about that for a second, because this is one of the reasons why I'm saying I think that it's beneficial to start organizing inside of ON1 Photo RAW. Unlike other photo editors, this is actually a browser workspace. It's using the exact same browsing technology that your operating system uses. And so for me, I'm on a Mac. This is moving things around inside of the folders as if I was moving them using my Finder browsing system. And if you're on a Windows, it's doing the same thing as if you were on the Explorer browsing system. So just think like if you were opening folders and moving stuff around, that's essentially what's happening here. And so when you have that in mind, well, you can literally just come in here and say, okay, this image is in this folder. I want to process it inside of PureRAW. All I have to do is click, drag, and drop. So now you notice that when I drop this image into PureRAW 6, I got this pop-up window here. And I think that this is one of the reasons why most people would lean towards something like a PureRAW 6, because DxO, they have these amazing camera and lens combination modules that just give you the best optical and really sensor quality that you can get out of a camera when you have a lens and a camera combination. Because unlike other editing software, ON1 included, it's not just correcting for the lens, it's also making corrections for the sensor inside of your camera. And so if you look here, it picked up that I was using the Sony A7C Mark II, and that I had a 24-70 lens on. And so it's asking me, well, were you using the Sony version or were you using the Sigma version? Now, for me, I was absolutely using the Sigma version. So I can just click here and it's going to download this module as soon as I hit save to my computer. So in the future, when I use the Sigma 24-70 along with my A7C Mark II, it's going to already know how to correct that optically. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit save, and you can see it downloads. It's really quick. These are really, really small files, but they really do pack a punch, so to speak, for your overall image. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just double click here to make this take up the whole screen. And if you had multiple images in here, you could just throw, 50. I've actually processed 437 images. I know that's a random number, but it was a project I was working on. Put all 437 images into DxO PureRAW 6, and I just ran the process and it worked out perfectly fine. It spit out the DNGs, and we'll get to that here in a second. And so now that I have my image in here, I've got the lens module ready to go. All I have to do is come down here to the bottom right and click Process with Preview. And so this is going to give you kind of a preview of what DxO PureRAW 6 is going to do. Now, this isn't going to be a deep dive tutorial on how PureRAW 6 works. If that's something you're interested in, then just let me know down in the comment section and I will make a dedicated video for that. I really just want to show you how you can get the images into PureRAW and then process it and then get it back into ON1 so you get that workflow. All right. And so if you look on the left side here, let me zoom in a bit so it can be seen a little better. On the left side is the unprocessed version of the image where all of that grain and noise is still in there. And then on the right side, we have the processed version. And just look at how clean this image really gets when you process it here inside of PureRAW. All right. And I am using the DeepPRIME XD, and these are kind of my common settings. They may be a little cranked heavy, but don't worry about it. Again, this isn't a video about PureRAW. Now, once you have all of your settings dialed in and your image is looking the way that you want it to look, you can come over here to the right side and click on this bottom icon that says it's for output settings. And when you click that, you'll have some options here for the type of outputs that you want on your image. And so ultimately, if you want to continue working in a raw workflow, which I know many of you do, then you're going to select DNG, and then you'll just go ahead and leave it at uncompressed. That's my personal preference. You could make it a high fidelity compression, but I recommend leaving it as uncompressed. That way you'll have all of the data to work with inside of ON1 Photo RAW when you're ready to start editing the image. But just note that it is going to be relatively large of a file, all right? And so I've already processed this, and you can choose the location that you want it to go to. I recommend putting it in the original images folder, and then you could put it into a subfolder for pure raw render. That's what I personally do, just so it's easier for me to find down the line, and then it's good to go. All right. And then you'll just hit process now and it will render. Now, once everything is complete over inside of PureRAW 6, you can come back to ON1 Photo RAW. Now, remember, I created a folder that was titled PureRAW 6 renders inside of the original folder, or where the original is located. And so if I scroll all the way down here, I should have a folder. And here it is for PureRAW 6 or PureRAW render. And then there's our processed PureRAW file. If I hit the space bar to zoom in on it, we're going to let that load. And you can see I now have a noise-free image. And so I can come into ON1 and we'll just go into edit. And then I can edit this like a normal raw file. I still have the ability to come in here and change my camera profiles to whatever I want them to be. And then I have the ability to change the white balance using the Kelvin scale instead of the point system. And so that's how simple it is to work with DxO PureRAW 6 inside of On1 Photo RAW and kind of get the best of both worlds, like I mentioned before, of getting that noise reduction, demosaicing software technology, along with the DxO lens modules, which I can't even tell you how amazing those things are, and still be able to keep your workflow inside of On1 for those who are the most familiar with editing inside of On1 Photo RAW. So again, if you'd like to pick up DxO PureRAW 6 and save a little bit of money in the process, consider using the coupon code FWP Summer 26. It will save you some money when you check out. I do make a commission from everyone who uses it, but that's at no extra cost to you. It's a win-win. And so if you found value in the video, smash the like button and consider subscribing. Until next time, I want you to stay inspired and keep creating. Peace.